Good evening. Welcome to Sissy's Cards and Crafts. I am Sissy, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Eastern Ontario, Canada. So I just wanted to come in tonight. It's going to be kind of quick, hopefully, just to do one alternative for this month's paper pumpkin. It is so beautiful. Really don't need to alter things much. These are so sweet. Great for spring, obviously. Fun to decorate the envelopes, and a nice envelope. A lot of demonstrators are taking the envelope, cutting it open, and using the inside part. So basically the opposite side of this for cards, alternative cards, that gives you a lot of extra paper, this designer series paper to do that. So really pretty, a lot of stuff options to do. It does coordinate with Grow with Love dies and stamps, and that's what we're going to use tonight. These are the stamps that came with it. You can get alternative or additional dies to go with it. The dies go with 3 months. So there was one for January, February, and then there will be one for March. So that gives you a little bit of extra. And then there was some twine that came with it. I'm not going to use that twine. I am going to use a stamp. You could always fussy cut if you don't have these. That's fine. I'll show you a couple alternatives of what I came up with. So I did take this card. Sorry, put a shot here. So this was the card base, really, that I used. I haven't used any of this front here. Okay. Keep in mind there is this pink die sentiment piece that you could use, but I'm not going to. So what I did is I cut that in half, that card base, right? I went like that. I cut it in half, and then I got a card base out of Basic Beige, and I'm just going to score that a little bit, or a little bit more, and then I cut this down 1/8 of an inch, so 1/8 of an inch narrower and shorter, right? So that is going to be our card base. Quite quick and easy to do. So you could have 2 cards, right? You just need an 8.5 by 11 sheet of Basic Beige, and off you go. You're all set. Okay, so this is going to go on here. Remember, this has a direction to it, so you want to make sure it's going on correctly, right? So there's our card front. Okay, so I come up with a couple ideas. One, you could take the stamps, and this is Old Olive, or you could use Mossy Meadow green, and there's the chives stamp, and then there's the Petunia Pop, and that's what comes in the kit for these 2 tops of the chives. Now, this is the die that comes in the stamp set. I believe it just cuts out the chives, not the flowers, but there might be a flower one as well. I think it might be 2-piece. I'm not entirely sure. But anyways, if you don't have that die, I just fussy cut that. So I just took my scissors, my snips, and again, move the paper, not the scissors, as you go around, and don't chop. Just do smooth cuts, and don't let them completely close, and you'll get a nice smooth cut. So I've done that. Then I also, because I did have the dies that go with this bundle, I was able to cut out one of these tags. So I cut it out of just very vanilla paper. And then, because I didn't quite like, especially when we're using here, I didn't like the sharp white. So what you can do is take just a little dauber, or even just a bit of a sponge. Some people will take just a regular kitchen sponge, cut a chunk off and just use a bit of that. And then you just dip it in your ink and come along and just go like this all along the edge. And that will just soften that edge a little bit and blend it in. And then we have the stamp to a wonderful friend. I pop that on there, and then we can put these two on there. So there, that's a quick and easy card. I also thought I brought out this polka dot trim. Again, I used it last night. It is on sale. I did check. It's like $5 something. It was regular $11. So that is still there in the clearance. And I thought, you know what, we could just put that on there like that. Of course, actually, let's just do that because I'm going to use this no matter what. Just like we did before, we're going to get our tear and tape. And I'm just going to use these for a second to start this. How long is this? 5 inches. I like to, with this trim especially, I like to try to get the whole thing with tear and tape, just because it is quite heavy, and I don't want any of it lifting. I would like it all to stay down, especially if I'm going to mail it. I don't want something to happen where it's going to come up. So then burnish it down and lift it up. Just going to use this pin to try to capture it here. So how's everybody? Nobody's really commenting on anything yet. I really would appreciate likes and shares of the video. Subscribe. I do have a couple new subscribers. Thank you so very, very much for that. I appreciate that. But definitely pass along if you like these cards. I'd love to hear that. Okay, so that is going to sit on there. And then, oops, giving it away here. Here's the one. Could put this on with dimensionals like I did last night. Just even a strip here and here so it straddles that ribbon and goes on there. And whether you want to just glue that on or stick it on with dimensionals, you could put a dimensional here and here and pop that on there like that. So then, and we could put some gems on, and we'll get to them in a second. So quick way there. Another thing I thought of is, because I had the stamps and the dies, I did one of these tags here, and I embossed the edge with gold. I don't know if you can see it. I can kind of get the shimmer there. It's very, very fine. What I did is I took my Versamark and I just kind of scraped the edges in that Versamark, all 4 edges, put the embossing powder on it, and then embossed it. Now, I did have to, especially being a small piece, have to use some reverse tweezers. These are not the Stampin' Up! Ones, but they work. But I suggest coming in just on that corner and grabbing it there, or one of the corners, because you're not going to notice it as much if there's a little embossing missing there. But you would miss it if there's a big chunk off of one of the sides or the ends. And that will allow that. So there's a nice little gold edging there. Then I used the wonderful Friend stamp, but I think this time I'm going to use Hello Spring. I'm going to pop that on there. And I'm going to use the Mossy Meadow again, just because I think it being in the card, and I like the green and the gold together. I think they look good. There is a nice Happy Easter one there too. And I'm going to stick more to this end. I'm not going to center it. I'm going to go towards the end because I do have a die cut to put on the other end. So there's our Hello Spring. And clean that off. Okay. And then we can put this on here like that. So get the dimensionals out. Now I did pick up these mini ones, which should be fine because we have space top and bottom there. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come along and I'm going to cut a long strip off here. Let's just go the whole length. With the mini ones, you have more edging to use, so I can do a better strip there. I'm just going to cut this basically in half. Okay. And I want to straddle that ribbon or that trim, so I'm going to just put this top and bottom of our die cut, and we're going to pop it up. So it gives lots of space in there to give me room for that ribbon, and it's going to help give it some support. Like I say, you could use the dimensionals quite easily. So this is going to go on here, just like that. I think I've got it straight. Okay. Now, the other thing I did, and you can probably see it up here in the corner, I took a stamp. So, and you could do this with the chive stamp because it is part of the kit, but because I had this, I took the basil and I embossed it. Now, I keep seeing, or whenever I see demonstrators do embossing, they always use the photopolymer stamps, but these, and you don't get the depth that you do. So you don't really see the shading and the depth that you do when you stamp one of these cling or red rubber stamps. But I still really like the looks of embossing the red rubber in the metallic. And then we're just going to pop that on there. And I think that just looks pretty sweet. Now, I'm going to use these minis, and I'm going to make sure I kind of hit these ones at the top here, just because they're going to hang over the edge, and I don't want to see them kind of get pushed down again if we're putting it in the mail or anything. And we could just take a little edge and do these bottom, oh, just went flying. We just do these bottom stems here as well, just to make sure they don't sink in. My son worked for the Postal Service for a while, and, you know, he told me what these letters go through, and I want to make sure they arrive nice and safe and sound. Oops. So I'm going to center that on there, just like that. Then I'm going to just take these gems, which are the adhesive back swirl dots. These also came with the Latte Love suite. So like I said last night, the Latte Love stamps are no longer available, but these two things are. So I thought I would use these nice swirly, very vanilla ones. I believe that's what they are. I thought they had the colors on the back of them, but they don't. These are kind of big enough that I could pick them up without, oops, there's a, without a take your pick tool. But I am gonna put them there like that. So there we go. Quick and easy card to do as alternative. Sorry, I'm trying to do two things. So Hello Spring, we could put thanks for helping me grow. That would be kind of cute, right? Sending love to a wonderful friend. For you, Happy Easter would be another one. Would be good for that. Or if you want to use here, it says, thanks so much for your love and care. You're on my mind. Or we could just have it as a note card that you could send to somebody. And there we go. Or Hello Spring to a wonderful friend. That would be probably my first choice, actually. So let's just do that. So it's done. And then we don't have to forget to do it. And there's another stamp in here that is quite neat. I think I showed it already, but it gives a bit of a design where we could kind of put a design on the bottom of the card, back of the envelope, and just kind of give it a little bit of dimension, which I think would be great to do. But what would be really cool is doing that as an embossed section. So you know what? Let's just give that a try. I keep having dimensional that wants to stick on things. So I haven't really ever embossed on the inside of a card. I'm just pulling over this paper that I'd used earlier. So just a quick embossing. We're going to use our embossing buddy here just to take any static or oils off. I'm going to pop that up, or ink that up rather. I'm getting very tired. I need to go lay down. It's not as late as it has been. It's actually, for me to be on, quite early. Not quite early, but earlier than normal. But I do have to work tomorrow, and it's a 2-hour drive there, so I want to get to bed. All right. So this is just a design that the stamp is giving us, just again for that kind of dimension and added feature. So I'm going to turn on my heat gun. I'm going to grab it here, and the box is built off. You can kind of see it as we go. I don't want to get too close to the mic because it is loud. But if you can kind of watch it, see when it starts to turn. There we go. It's starting to turn now. A little bit shimmery. Now I wouldn't hurry up and close this card. I'd leave it for a minute before we close it out, just because we want to make sure it's dry, but you don't want to put too much pressure on it because it might stick. Once it's cured well, then you're good. I wouldn't worry about it, but I don't like it when I get ink on my block like that. I'm afraid I'm gonna get it on something. Okay. So, to a wonderful friend, line this up, center it, and there you go. So, Hello Spring, to a wonderful friend. I hope you like that card. Hopefully I can get on and do a couple other alternatives for this kit. I think it's great. I love the embossing. And yeah, I think it just adds a really nice touch to it. Take care. Thanks for joining.